Hello there everybody, Jesper Grip here for Kreativo.com, and today I'm going to show you how to do this folded bird here by Wellgraphic. We thought it was a pretty good bird, so we're going to make it into a tutorial. We start off with a folded origami like bird like this. It's not needed at all, it just makes it easier to trace. And then we just pull in a white bird like this. And we just positioning the head here. We want to start off with just the head, that's usually the easiest to start off with. And then we just take this and we select something like this, and then back and up. And then what we do is we make a new group, and we put a layer mask on this group. And we take our bird and we pull it inside, and it will get affected by the layer mask, but you still have it on a separate layer, so that's pretty good. So you can move the bird around now as you want, please. So if you see here, we can move it around inside the layer mask, and we can move it around like just as we want it to. So that's a pretty sweet way of doing it. And this is what we basically will do. So I'm going to make a new here. I'm going to just trace this piece of paper and up here and here and there. I use the polygon lasso tool for this. I find it very easy to use. So just make a new group, put a layer mask on that, take our bird once again, and we pull the bird in. What we want to do now is just make sure that I usually scale it up, and then you want to have the neck here, something around there, so it fits pretty good. And we're just gonna move this a little bit up, something like that. You want to make sure there's no like spaces between and such. So gonna actually resize this a little bit bigger. Gonna put it around there. And now we just trace again. Trace here and then all the way back and then down and then all the way up. Something like this. Something like that. And then once again, new group, layer mask, pull our bird in. Or we could actually do it one easier way, and that's just Control J on this one, and we just pull that one down. And there we go. Another piece of bird there. I'm gonna remove this a little bit. You don't want it, you want it to break, so you see that there's a line between. So you don't want it on exactly the same spot, because that's not fun. Something like that. And then once again we'll trace. We'll trace from here, down here, and then up, and then back down, like that. And new group, layer mask. We take our bird in, pull it in, something like this. I want the wing to be there now, so like that. And then we're going to trace again. I'm going to move this group a little bit down, just around there. The sweet thing with having these groups is you can move them all the time, so that's really nice. And then we just trace all the way back, and we trace all the way up, and then there and there, like that. New group, layer mask, and then Control J on this one, pull that in there, and then we just move that bird to around. We want it to be at the tail here, so around there. And then I'm going to move this group a little bit, just positioning it better, like that. And now we go to the wing part basically, and what we will do then is we will pull in a new bird, and we will have it like something around there. And then now we won't do it with layer masks and stuff like that anymore. I'm just going to just use a layer mask, but in another way. So I'm going to use this, and just taking a pen, and then take a pretty big, and we'll just delete the bird like this, since we won't be needing it anymore. Like that. I'm gonna make it a hard brush, and then we want to select white, and we just like that. Okay, that's the top wing then, and I'm just going to make then drag a bird in again. We want to make it a bottom wing. I'm gonna take the other wing for that, and we're going to put that below, like that, something around there. And then we just erase again with a layer mask on. This is always so. This bird is really easy to make when once you know how to do it. It's just that it takes time and a lot of, you know, detail work. Something around there. I'm just going to go back there because I saw I missed the whole tail part. How that is even possible, I'm not really sure. But I'll blame that I'm tired, so I'll have some sympathy because of that. And now we just want the tail then as well. So what we do then is bring the bird in once more, and we're going to position it below here. I'm gonna put it there, and I'm going to size it up because I want the tail to be bigger. So around here, actually gonna resize it down a little bit, got a little bit too big. Around there, and I wanted to put it like right here and the back. Like that, and then just layer mask on that, and we just erase once more, like that. Remember just to keep them in groups. That's really a good tip to all of you, to keep them in groups. It makes it a lot easier to edit, like that. And then we just turn off this blue stuff, and we just make a new layer, and we fill that with white. Paint bucket tool, like that. Okay, and after we've done, we want to just pull in a background, and then I'm going to take here a blue background that I already have for the bird, and we just resize that to fit. And then as you see, like, there's always some small things to edit, and that would be the wings. I'm just gonna fix that real quick. And then I'll usually do this because we want it to be a straight line, like that. And then we just erase, like that. Deselect, and then we have a pretty straight line. And then we also want to take that away. And now when we've done all this, what we want to do then is, of course, making shadows to this. That's what makes the background look good. So we will make shadows, one on this tail here, create clipping mask, and I'm going to take this to a really soft brush, and I'm just gonna pull with black like this, and then we go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I want to make it fade pretty much, something around there, and then I will move it up so we have it there. Not too bright, but I want to be a clean shadow so it looks like it's folded, you know. And then we do the same on the bottom wing here. We make a new layer, create clipping mask, and then we just want to paint around here. Want it to be a little bit, you know, extra colored here and there. And then we just do Gaussian blur again around there, and I'll move this in. Control F. We actually do it a few times more, like that. And then the top wing, create clipping mask, and we just paint here. Control F, something like that, and we'll move this back to there. And yeah, that's that. And then we have this tail piece. Create clipping mask on that one as well. And then I'm just going to paint here and there, and then Control F twice. Something around there. And here we have that part. Create clipping mask then as well. This is just, you know, it's always about just going at it. That's all there is to it. Actually, I'm not gonna have a clipping mask on that one for now. I'm going to keep it on this one instead, because that one I'm gonna want to keep this wing part, top part. So we're gonna just keep that without shadows for now. And then we just do it here instead. All the way down here actually. Control F, something like that, and we just move it up to there. As you see now, this looks like it's paper pretty good. So, and then we have the neck part here. We'll make no shadows there as well. We're just going to actually make one more clippy mask here, and I'm going to make a shadow here at the neck also. I want to keep them separated usually. I don't want to have the shadows on the same layer because it's easier to change it if it's in different layers, like always. So if you're a Photoshopper, you know that you usually want to keep them separated. So create clippy mask here once again, and then the last shadow. And this one we just want really faint like that. And I'm also seeing that there's a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to move this back, and I'm also going to move this down below the neck, not inside the neck. Like that. Let's see, there, so it's below the neck. That's what we want. Okay, so that's the bird. Now it's a folded bird, and we have everything folded and looking good. So what we do then is we just want to make the light effect, if you say it like that. So what we're going to do then is really simple. We want to select a white and a black, go to filter on a new layer like I just created, and then we go render, clouds, and we get this. And then we go blur, radial blur, and we just put this to around 100, and we put it up in the corner. If you follow my tutorials before, you've seen this before. I use this quite a lot for good lighting effects. And then we just put it to soft light. And you see here we get a little bit of a light here. You can always also put it to color dodge if you want it to be more on the bird, but I'm gonna keep it on here. And I'm going to make a new layer also, and I want to keep a big soft brush, and I just want to paint white up here, and then go filter, blur. We can go radial blur again if you want to. Like if you go radial blur, it's just going to blur out like that. So that works, but I usually do it with the Gaussian blur as well. So if we put Gaussian blur, it's gonna do around the same effect. And now we'll get a bit of white here that shines down on our bird. And then as you guys saw in the Pontus one, what we did then was just actually importing a branch like this, and then we just cut that branch out, delete all the white. If we just make this a layer first, and then delete all the white like that, select, and then we just pull that branch in here. And what you want to do then is like just scale this up to around there, put it, you know, in the corners here, and then go to a blur, and then Gaussian blur. If you want it to look like it's really close to the camera, then you just blur it down like this. And then you as well want to have one in the beak, and then you just take one in and you just scale it like this. You put it in his beak, but I'm not gonna do that for now. So you guys seen the principle of how to do this. Make sure you also take this group 5 or the back tail here that's overlapping the wing. Just make sure to move it down below the wing like this. We need to make it sure it's outside of the group as well, and like that. And then yeah, so just make sure that the layers are in the right order, otherwise it's going to look bad when you're done with the image. Okay. Make sure to like our Creativo channel. Make sure to join us on Creativo.com, and as well thank Pontus for his lovely bird here, folded dove. Go to Wellgraphic on Facebook, and you can see his latest art. He's one of our admins on Creativo as well, so if you have any questions, you can always ask him or me as always. Thank you guys for watching, and please remember to comment if you want any tutorial to be made, and thank you all for watching.